So for athletes, they visualize the future so that when they meet that point in the future, they're prepared.
Visualization is not just for creating dances or marketing campaigns or designing something. It could be applied to anything. And that was a huge thing for me to begin to understand.
Focus was way off. Like, if I could go 15 seconds in an idea, that was like shattering a family record.
I know when we travel, I visualize nonstop because I don't like to get, number one, caught in canceled flights or have to go through, treacherous weather, all these things. And I've talked to lots of people in the last couple of years. They're like, oh man, just so many nightmare travel stories. Like, I can never get out of here. Or I got stuck and it was like 3 days. And I was like, wow, really? It's like I have not had a single bad trip in 3 years. I'm literally like on time or early.
Hi, I'm Dave Conway, and I'm here with my wife, Jacqueline. Welcome to the 30-Day Year. On this podcast, we're sharing stories, ideas, and philosophies to show you what it takes to turn your annual income into your monthly income. I've learned that the first step to creating a 30-day year is entertaining new ideas that might at first appear strange or even laughable. But stick with us as we reveal that this idea is a very real way to build success. Our plan is to spark curiosity into what you're capable of achieving by exploring ideas around freedom, contribution, work, life, everything. The content may even disturb your perception of life a bit too, which we hope it does. This podcast is not about us, it's all about you. So sit back, relax, and come in with an open mind. Welcome to the 30-Day Year.
All right, we're going to talk visualization today. This is a hot topic, I find, for us because it's a practice that we teach often. We've even done workshops, like full-on workshops about it, because we believe so deeply in its importance to helping people, I think really learn how to use their imagination, learn how to activate it, and then learn how to apply it to goal achievement. And I think that it's becoming a bit more commonplace in the modern world that I personally have noticed more people talking about visualization. I think it's becoming just more normal. And I think that's really exciting. And it goes very deep. And there's a lot to know about it. And it can be really daunting for a lot of people. I find a question I hear a lot from people we work with is, well, how do I even start? Like, I'm visualizationally challenged. I don't know how this works. I sit there, I'm just not getting inspired by it, or I don't even know what I'm doing. And so today we wanted to kind of just shine some light on visualization, go a little bit deeper on the topic, how it can support you, how it can help you achieve your goals faster, how it can actually be an incredible relaxation tool as well, because I know that there's a lot of entrepreneurs and business people and athletes and everyone out there that can feel very stressed, and stress is a huge part of life too. And this is a great antidote to that and can help you find some of that peace and serenity while also being a high achiever. So I think it's a really important thing to get into. So we want to talk about two different styles of visualization that you've sort of coined. I don't know if I've heard this by anyone else. I'll call this a DC original. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you describe visualization two ways: micro visualization and macro visualization. And I like the differentiation because it can provide context for people in how to apply visualization, especially in the early days of it, in a way that feels maybe more intuitive or easy or simple. And then I think as you do it more and more, it can evolve and you can find almost like your own style of it. Because I think because it's so rooted in creativity and your imagination can like almost open up, and we all can have, our ways of doing things. So why don't you just take a few minutes, just explain what that all means. What's micro visualization? Or if you want to go back to just talking about visualization in general.
Yeah, well, why would a person visualize? That's a great question. Yep. Why do you think a person would visualize, Jack? Why would a person visualize? What would be the reason for that? Sitting on a chair with your eyes closed is meant to change your life. Like,
Sure. I would go back to when I used to teach dance and choreograph dances. I would use visualization. So why would I use it? I would use it to organize my thoughts and to build creative concepts. Because creativity is generally rooted in imagery, right? So with dance, it's very visual. And so visualization lends very well to a visual medium. And then I've also been a creative director and a marketing director in the past. And I would use visualization to see the campaigns. Like I'd see the billboards or the banners or the visual identity. And I would start with seeing it in my head first. And that would help me understand what I like or what I want to create.
You actually have a great ability to do that, like naturally. I don't know if you ever had to work hard at it.
I never had to work at it, but I think it's because I was trained in dance from such a young age. And I was in that world for so long. And then being a teacher, then having to take all that training I had completed, I guess, and then apply it as a teacher. Then I started to see how I'd been trained to do this for so many years. So it felt very natural. It felt very natural for me.
It's interesting too. My first experience with visualization was with soccer. So it's interesting how it's used for sports. You said it was you with dance, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember ever being taught how to visualize at school. Were you?
No. And I even went to art school too. I was in design school for a while, and we didn't get into visualization. However, we did get into inspiration and being in different environments and looking at other works and feeding the imagination with others' creativity. And then that would spark ideas and also open up your imagination. Although it wasn't taught in that way, I see now that practice of going to museums, watching films, watching specific work that the teacher wanted us to watch, different videos, or watching runway shows of different fashion designers or things like that, and how that would stimulate the mind. Yeah.
Yeah, why would a person visualize? That's a great question.
Yeah, it is. It's a really good question.
Right? What's really going on?
Yeah.
And I began to visualize consciously in 2017. When I learned that the subconscious mind is an infinite storehouse for thought impressions. And I learned about the subconscious mind that it doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. It'll accept any idea that's passed over to it. So, for example, you're sitting at home watching a scary movie and all of a sudden you're scared,
Yeah.
And then that night you go to bed and you're still scared. You might even be more scared.
I once watched the finale of Twin Peaks, the original Twin Peaks, not the newer one. And I was traumatized for a week. I couldn't close my eyes and not see the White Lodge or whatever the heck it's called. And the little guy that spoke backwards. I was messed up. It was in there.
Scared at night, scared all the time.
I was scared
right?
all the time.
That's right. So when you visualize, we can use a scary movie or Twin Peaks in your case.
Yeah. That's scary. Don't say it's not scary.
It's disturb. It's distorting or disturbing.
It's disturbing. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we experience something mentally, it almost starts a train of causation for that thing to continue to roll. So with you in the Twin Peaks, a whole week where you're you got the Twin Peaks consciousness,
Right.
So what we need to understand is that the subconscious mind's an infinite storehouse from thought impression, and it doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. And, I want to also put this into this podcast. Visualization is not just for athletes.
No, or dancers or creatives.
Exactly.
And I learned this. I realized one day we were at a seminar and I was like, oh my gosh, visualization is not just for creating dances or marketing campaigns or designing something. It could be applied to anything. And that was a huge thing for me to begin to understand, that the imagination can literally create anything, can help you with anything.
That's right. So through the imagination, you create a thing called future memories. So if you're an athlete and you're, shooting 3-pointers, and you're visualizing that, and there's even studies been done where they took one group of basketball players and they visualized, taking their 3-pointers, and then they took another group of athletes or basketball players And they actually were physically shooting the 3-pointers, and the results were basically identical in the practices. Like, at the end result from the visualization group and the actual people that were doing it. Now, if those study people understood the mind, how the mind actually functions, that would be no surprise. Be no surprise at all. Because your subconscious mind cannot differentiate from real and imagined. So for athletes, they visualize the future so that when they meet that point in the future, they're prepared. Astronauts, military people, they all do this. It's like an actual part of the training where they're mentally doing things and exercising in their mind so that when that situation happens, they've done it 1,000 times over and over and over. You can form mental habits through that. So a person visualizes, and you nailed it, Jack. It creates order in the mind, right? Genevieve B. Rand, who is the only pupil of one of my favorite authors, Thomas Troward, she said that the exercise of the visualization faculty creates order in the mind. So, and you said that. You said it would create order in my mind. You would place it. And same with Albert Einstein. Like Albert Einstein did what they call like imagination experiments. So he would just like literally be sitting in his den at home, and then he would be visualizing, all the different things. And that's where the law of relativity started to come out of, visualization experiments using the imagination to go into a place,
right?
Because the body's stuck, but the mind can go anywhere and it can create anything.
Yeah. That's wild. I didn't know that about Einstein. That's really interesting.
All of his breakthroughs are through imagination experiments.
Right. And it would seem, I don't know a lot about Oppenheimer, but it would seem like there's a bit of a through line for him on that too. So.
Yeah. I would assume that all geniuses operate through the imagination, like all of them. They see the world differently. They see it differently before it happens, and then maybe they drive that forward too.
Yeah.
Like if Elon Musk keeps holding on to this dream of Mars, you bet your bottom dollar the human race will be on Mars.
Yeah. Yep.
We live in the world of the dreamer. So when I first started to incorporate visualization exercise into my day to create order and to help me achieve my goals, and if you're not using visualization to help you create order and achieve your goals, you're missing out on a great thing that you can do, and it's free to do. That's the crazy thing too.
Yeah.
But what I discovered was I was dog crap at visualizing.
This wasn't as natural for you as it was for me, probably.
No, I was terrible.
Yeah. Tell me what you would see in your mind. Like if you were like in the early days of learning this skill, like what would you see? Just was it hard for you to focus or?
Yeah, focus was way off.
Yeah.
Like if I could go 15 seconds in an idea, that was like shattering a family record. There's this one idea that I wanted more than anything, and it was to speak on stage, one of Bob Proctor's stages. And that was my visualization. I started visualizing that in January of 2018. And at that time, like if I could do 15 seconds in a visualization, it was like pretty good.
Right.
And then I also was doing a call once with Bob, and when I discovered that I'm what I call visualizationally impaired. Yeah. And I asked him, I was like, can I use music to help me out, like get me in the mood? And he said, oh, yeah, 100%. Anything that supports the image and the feeling.
Yes, because I always found like when I would visualize the dances before I would create them, like the music was very stimulating and inspiring. And so that would just kind of guide everything, the tone, the mood, the story, the concept, the costume, everything, how we staged it. It was all based on that. So it was like this natural stimulant. But the other, I think, from my own experience, when it comes to feeling like I'm good at visualizing, music for sure, but then just like relaxing properly first. So I think like if you're struggling with falling into a visualization or like being able to hold on to it and like sink into it, I think there's like this whole sort of relaxation process that needs to help you just literally relax and then let it flow from there. So I think there's like a combination, like, because I find if I'm coming up with a dance, I'm not super relaxed. I'm actually very energetic and engaged. And it's like I'm moving like this. Whereas, whereas I've gone to seminars that you've been leading and you'll bring us into really deep relaxation first, then you visualize. And that has been very vivid inside my mind and profound as well.
Yeah.
But I think it's the relaxation that
if you
did
can,
it.
but I didn't discover that for quite some years later. Just even the the visualization would help start to relax me anyway as well. So there is benefits to it.
Yeah.
I started to visualize this one idea over and over of me speaking on that stage. And in the end, that one obsession, I was getting up to 25, 30-minute visualizations.
Right.
So we need to understand that your imagination, like visualization itself, is like a mental muscle.
Yeah.
And if you're anything like me, where your muscles are pretty weak and flabby, not that strong, then understand that it can be built. Mm-hmm. And I built it through two different ways. So that would be a form of macro visualization where I was running a longer thing. And in the end, I was at 15 seconds, or in the beginning, I was at 15 seconds. Mm-hmm. And in the end, I was up to 25, 30 minutes on some of these things.
So do you say macro is more like just a larger, like more scenario based, like a whole unfoldment, like an hour or a day or
even 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Let's break it into 5-minute plus would be macro, where you're running through something for like a consecutive amount of time. So it's a bigger idea, like or a longer, you're like living more and more in it. So one of the reasons that the way that I run the visualizations at the seminars, that there's so much benefit, is because that would be a form of macro, because I put people into a relaxed state, and then we go into extended periods of visualization. So we play, it's like playing a longer movie.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, there's two ways there's another sort of idea around these, is that there's macro in the sense of like far away into the future too, where you're visualizing like a vision or the absolute end result. And then there is where you're visualizing, something that's coming up in the next week.
Right.
Right. So there's a distance in how far you can go in the mind as well. But when it comes to time, I would say macro is 5 minutes plus. Micro would be 5 minutes under. And then the two situations where how far out in time and space are you going? Are you, like, I've got an image of myself at 80 years old. That's definitely a macro visualization. That's 40 years away. And I also use the techniques on something for tonight would be a micro.
Right.
So you got time and distance.
Well, there's one example that I really love that I've heard you teach before, which is kind of like the going through your day micro visualization, like almost seeing how you want your day to unfold. Like in the morning, let's say, like when you get up, maybe you're brushing your teeth or you're picking an outfit to wear, making a coffee, and you kind of just see how you want your day to go. Like you want your kids to get dressed and they're not fighting with you. And you get in the car and everyone's happy and drop-offs are good and you get to your work and everyone's ready or whatever. You have to run a number of calls and they go just as you wanted. Like everything kind of falls in order. I know when we travel, I visualize nonstop because I don't like to get, number one, caught in canceled flights or have to go through, treacherous weather, all these things. And I've talked to lots of people in the last couple of years. They're like, oh man, just so many nightmare travel stories. Like I can never get out of here. Or I got stuck and it was like 3 days. And I was like, wow, really? Yeah. It's like I have not had a single bad trip in 3 years. Yeah. I'm literally like on time or early. And I was like, what's that about? And,
visualization, baby.
But I know. And you inspired me with that because I would, as soon as I'm like heading to the airport, I'm just seeing myself walking into the hotel room I'm headed to.
That's right.
And I see myself getting there and I'm like, oh, this is nice. And I kick my shoes off and I like just lay down for a little bit and then I go do whatever else I got to do. But that's where I just see myself getting there.
Yeah. Well, the world's stressful.
It is stressful.
Right. And it's always telling you that something's wrong all the time.
Yeah.
So if you just keep allowing your imagination to be, pounded by the outside world all the time, that is very chaotic.
Yeah.
Then you're going to start to impress those images on your sub, and you will start to experience stress.
Yeah.
And the other forms, we have the macro, which is longer 5-minute plus mental movies, I guess, and then also further out in the distance, could be a year, 10 years, 30 years, 40 years out. the length, the distance of time and space that you're traveling through the visualization.
Right.
And then there's the micro.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
So micro visualization is when you are taking a specific thing. So let's say 5 minutes under.
Yeah.
So that's the length of the visualization themselves. And then you're just using it for something that's very close in time and space. Now, one of the micro visualizations that changed my entire life was I pinpointed, just like you were sharing, like, okay, what's this travel is stressing people out. It has the potential to stress me out.
And there's so many things that can go wrong.
Oh.
Because there's so many elements and factors. Like to get a safe flight to a new city, like if you think about how complex that really is, like you have every opportunity for something to go wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
So you visualize like being in the hotel room. It's like, okay, well, that's the end result, right? And so you can see that. And the more you see it, the more you believe it and feel it and realize how powerful you are, because you're probably the only person doing it. That's the truth. The strongest mind always wins. So you use it for something that's coming up right away.
Yeah.
And a micro visualization that changed my whole life, changed my income. So if you're thinking about change your income, you want to listen to this. I asked myself, okay, what is the point? Like, at what point does my life change and then my client's life change?
Right.
Right?
What visual image or photograph
like what
captures
point?
that?
Exactly. So what point does my goals start to move, my financial goals and my desire to help people, and then the starting point of my prospects or clients? So I was using it for sales. When does that start to move? And I realized, well, it's when I close the sale, right? So when I close the sale, income is earned, which is fantastic, but also that journey starts with that client, because I have an obsession with helping people. I am obsessed with helping people understand the material that has just changed our lives, my life, our lives, and a lot of our clients' lives.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, it's the close. So then I was like, all right, well, I'll just visualize that. So every day I would just visualize the close. I would visualize myself, saying, do you want to do this? Then I would hear a voice on the other line. I would hear a voice on the other line saying yes. And then I'd say, okay. And then I go through, okay, name, number, da-da-da-da. And then I would hear them giving me the credit card number. And then in my mind, I would have a pen and a paper and I would write the numbers on the paper. And I would see the numbers, I would hear the numbers, I would feel the numbers. If I could eat the paper, I would taste the numbers, I guess. I didn't go that far. But including as many of your senses into the visualization as possible.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, because your subconscious mind will pick them up better.
And I've never applied it like that before, and that's cool.
Try and get as many senses involved as you possibly can when you're visualizing. So I don't know how long that visualization is. 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and I just would do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And when I started doing that, within 12 months, income went over $1.4 million.
In the short term, did you start to see the results show up, though?
Almost immediately.
Were you like closing, 1 or 2 or 3 or however many sales each day? Do you know what I mean? Like collecting those numbers. Like,
yes.
I think over time it compounded to your 30-day year. But just in the short term, like, because I think like we want to see progress. Like we want to start doing these things and we want to see it working. We want to
get wins, right?
We want to get wins. Like I don't want to visualize for like a year and nothing happen. It's like, that's really defeating. Like it's nice to see
unless it works after a year.
I guess, right? And maybe you just really have to learn about your mind. Like that takes a year. It could take a year, I guess. It's interesting where we're all at. But it's just, when did the results like start to show up? Like when did you start to be like, okay, I'm collecting a lot more credit card numbers than I ever have? Almost
immediately. So I was on average closing a sale a week.
Okay. This is on your own or when you worked for Bob?
Just on my own.
On
and when
your
I
own.
transitioned over, I was on average closing a sale a week. And then it shifted very quickly to a sale a day. Like, I went from my biggest sales month, and that took me 9 months to do from the start. My biggest sales month was 65,000. And I wasn't implementing it back then. And my results were all over. I could have $0 months consistently. And then I could have a 20K month, and then a 35K month, and a 65K month. When I started to visualize taking credit card numbers, within 12 weeks, I had a $250,000 month.
Oh, wow. Within 12 weeks?
Within 12 weeks, yeah. So from
in
September,
sales. Like that was what you collected in sales.
In coaching sales.
Yeah.
And then like a sale a day became habitual, and they just kept coming from everywhere.
Right.
Like it didn't even matter what was on the calendar. Like something would always happen to produce that. Like if you really start understanding the mind, our mind is our greatest asset. Like you are the mind. You know, James Allen said, mind is the master power that molds and makes, and man is mind. And evermore he takes the tool of thought, and shaping what he wills, brings forth 1,000 joys, 1,000 ills. We think in secret, yet it comes to pass. Environment is but our looking glass. You see, our results are just the representation of the images that we accept. As you become a conscious visualizer, you're going to find that it starts to change your results. So there was some days where I was closing over 7 sales in a single day.
I remember those days.
Yeah, before that, that many sales would take 7 weeks.
Right.
So I'm doing in one day what I used to do in 7 weeks.
This is cool.
I can barely take any credit for it, Jack.
Well, what you're saying is that you collapsed time.
Yes.
Because we've also coined you like the time collapser before. But yeah, like if you're collapsing time, it means that you're leveraging the unseen, I guess, to come to your support, our imaginations, right?
That's right. You're impressing the sub. You're where all your power is and where all your power has been.
And this is all like proven by science, which is, I think it's tough for us to wrap our heads around because we can't see it, but we're influencing atoms, you know, like our minds, like our thoughts are energy. So if our thoughts are in our imagination, and we keep seeing this same thought over and over and over, and we're consciously choosing it, and we're doing it all the time, it's starting to change like our cells. It's starting to change how we operate, our behaviors, what we say. It's very interesting, and I think you could study just this for 100 years and maybe never fully understand it to its full depth. But I think it's just so deep.
Yeah,
into what's going on. Yeah. Like I love this example too. Like there's a synchrotron in the city we live in, and there's scientific evidence that human consciousness can influence the flow of electrons and protons and neutrons, right? It can influence the way they move and function. So the electrons are flowing like this, and then a human mind looks at them, and then they start changing a bit. What is that telling us?
Those telling us what's been told to us for thousands of years by the mystics, that it's all just consciousness.
It is, an energy.
People think that consciousness is just like in you. No, everything is your consciousness. Everything is consciousness, but the outside, like this microphone is in our consciousness now, and in your consciousness. You're in mine and I'm in yours. So consciousness is the inside world and where we live and we process life from, but it's also everything that you can physically see. So if you can train the mind to only see what you want to see, regardless of what's actually occurring, you will open up the doorway to infinite power.
That's trippy, Dave.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
It's awesome. No, I agree. And I love this topic. It's just really, really interesting. So,
can I say another B. Rand quote?
Yeah, of course.
She said, so she's got this amazing book called Your Invisible Power. I think it's the greatest visualization book ever written. And in it, she says, if, and I think that's the most important word. She says, if you deliberately train yourself in the exercise of the visualizing faculty, you can change your entire life. But the key word is if. And that's why the goals are so important to us, because we got to have something that we really want. If we don't have a goal, we're just a plaything to the outside world. And a lot of people stress. There's ADHD problems. There's all these problems in the world now.
Yeah.
Well, that's because no one has control over their mind. No one's exercising the mind. We know so little about it. here's a visualization that I have, and I don't think I'm the only one. I used to play around like getting interviewed by Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
I think
It's a fun one.
I think it's a super common one with the ladies.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think you just tapped into a consciousness there. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, who here's, I'll do workshops, and like, who here's ever visualized getting interviewed by Oprah? And like, tons of ladies' hands go up. And I'm like, how many times? And, most people have only been interviewed by her once. Well, I've been interviewed by her 10 times.
Wow. That's a lot.
She's invited me back 10
Wow.
times.
Congrats, Dave.
Thank
You'd
you.
be really, really proud of that.
And in one of my interviews with Oprah, she says, Dave, what's the saddest thing you've ever seen in your life? I'm like, well, thanks for asking, Oprah. The saddest thing I've ever seen in my life is that we know so little about ourselves. I know for me, up until I was 33 years old, I knew some things, but I didn't know much. And I found that the more I know about me, the more I know about you, because we're all the same. We're children of the Creator. And everything in this universe operates by a process. Everything has a process. Now, we don't know what some of these processes are, and science has done great work with that. Like Albert Einstein didn't invent the law of relativity, he discovered the law of relativity. So we do know that everything has a process. Well, if everything has a process in the universe, and the universe is the cosmos, and cosmos means order, then that means that the mind has processes too. Yeah. And the exercise and visualization is the first step of the process that you can start to change your life with.
Right. I love it.
I do too.
So the key, I think, for all of this, for visualization, is to start practicing it. I think it's that simple, right? And even if it's 15 seconds, a minute, just start where you're at. Don't force it, and start to embrace the habit. I think that's really what you said. That's how you got going with it. You were like, visualizationally impaired, you said, and you're like 15
like
seconds.
Walker,
you had your
wheelchair.
walker. That's right. So you started off where you were, and that's exactly all we can do. Like 15 seconds is all you could do, and then it was a minute, and then it was 30 minutes because you kept going at it. So I think it's just starting and keep practicing, right? Like anything. And to make it a little bit easier, we've attached a visualization checklist to the show notes of this episode so people can download it, work through it, and you'll just love it. If you enjoyed this episode, leave us a 5-star review and subscribe to receive notifications when new episodes are released. And if you're interested in learning more about our coaching programs and events, please visit us online at conwaymentorship.com. Dave and I truly value our audience and would love to hear from you as well. If you have questions for us about what it's like to create a 30-day year, please email us at hello@conwaymentorship.com. Your submission may turn into a future episode.
Produced at
Sound Lounge by T-Bone.